Well, good evening. Welcome to the Sportsman Rugby League for the last tackle. Delighted to be joined this week by Adrian Morley and Andrew Henderson. Gents, thank you for joining us. We really are in the thick of the business end of the season now, aren't we? Every game significant, every game a different story to tell. We'll start off in the Betfred Super League. Just pick through some of the action at the weekend. And Hendo, Warrington 32, Toulouse 18. Sadly, it looks like that is it for Toulouse. Warrington will be breathing a sigh of relief.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was obviously a result. I think you could see by the players' reaction at the end of the game, even the fans. I thought the fans, I've got to give them credit. I thought they really backed their team that night, and I think they all probably knew the importance of the fixture. I thought it was a fantastic crowd. I know they did a bit of a quid for a kid sort of promotion as well. I think created to get a few more numbers in, and I thought it was a healthy crowd there to see Warrington, for me, secure their Super League status for next season. I think there was a huge sigh of relief from the coaching team and the players at the end of it, and like I said, it's good to see that Warrington will be with us next season in the Super League.
Moz, former Warrington captain, of course. There's going to be an inquest, I'm sure, into what's gone wrong this season at the Halliwell Jones. It has not been a good year in any sense, but that win against Toulouse does kind of now just open it up to clean slate. You can start looking forward to next season, comfortably knowing that they're going to be in Super League and just start putting some of those wrongs right.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're certainly not going to brush this season under the carpet. There needs to be questions asked and questions answered, but you wouldn't have thought at the start of the year that Warrington would be in, which was essentially a relegation fight, 3 games before the end of the season against Toulouse, but you could see the relief, you're right, but now they are, mathematically, you would say that they're safe now. Now they can start building for next year, but I think next year, Daryl Powell's got the full squad together, who he wants there, so there's no excuses next year. If there's similar results next year, they might have to start looking at different coaches and different people involved. But I'm speaking to the Warrington faithful. They've got faith in Daryl Powell. They're going to give it another year, and hopefully, the tides will turn. But we'll wait and see. And
then Hull KR 20, Leeds Rhinos 28. Hendo.
Yep.
A big 2 points for Leeds on their playoff march. They're looking good. Danny Maguire must spend his free time smashing mirrors because their injury record at the moment is atrocious. He must be wondering what on earth is going on. Yeah,
I agree. Look, I think first let's start with Leeds. I think how Leeds have sort of transformed themselves or reinvigorated themselves under Rowan Smith has been a pleasure to watch. They're playing some outstanding rugby league football, and like you said, are making this late push for the playoffs now, which would be incredible if they do achieve that come the end of the Betfred Super League season. But I thought Brad Dwyer was really pivotal in that game. I felt for Leeds. I thought the injection of energy and effort around that ruck area, attack-wise, I thought it was outstanding. I thought it was a really good game on the whole, though, Lewis. I thought Hull Kingston Rovers, they really competed. They acquitted themselves well. I thought Jez Litton was lively in that contest because, as you rightly said, they've got a lot of guys playing out of position. They're down on bodies, a lot of young kids. I think losing Sean Kenny Dow the week previously wouldn't have helped. He's been such a pivotal, instrumental player for them this season, even since Tony Smith's departure. And I think Danny Maguire certainly can take a lot of credit for how he's managing that side at the moment. You certainly aren't. There's no lack of effort or endeavour from Hull Kingston Rovers, in terms of their level of performance. They really are trying, and I thought the crowd at the stadium at Hull KR on the weekend was fantastic. Really behind the team, and I think they should be proud of their team. I think that, like I said, the effort has been fantastic. Just probably lacking that little bit of quality to get over the line. But you have to commend Leeds on how they're playing at the moment. They're playing really, really well, and I think they're a genuine chance of making the playoffs.
Well, this time of year, it's all about form and momentum, and Leeds are the form team in the competition. No one, if they do make the playoffs, no one will want to play the Leeds Rhinos, and one of the few teams to have won the grand final from 5th, and they'll fancy the chances again. So it'll be interesting over the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, Leeds turned the heat up, haven't they, underneath Cass in that race for the playoffs. But what a response from the Tigers as well with that win against Catalans, Hendo. There's been some concerns about their form and consistency, and obviously they're finding their feet under a new coach, but that's a real statement win against the Catalan side, albeit struggling with injuries themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic result and performance for Casford, to be honest, Lewis. I think, and I think you've just said it there, they probably have been questioned a little bit on their consistency throughout this season, and actually probably been questioned on, are they going to be genuine challengers and contenders come the playoff race at the end of the season. And I think, in regards to seeing that result and that performance, I think you'd have to say yes. Catalans obviously were favoured throughout the year to be a strong contender for getting to the Super League Grand Final and winning it. So certainly a performance and result there for Castleford at home against the Catalan Dragons will certainly give them a lot more confidence that, hey, we can compete, we can challenge, and we can maybe do something come playoff time.
Moz, Salford 33, Huddersfield 16. Massive result again in the race for the playoffs. Salford needing a win to keep up with Leeds and Cass, who had won. And the first 40 minutes especially, absolutely outstanding. Yeah,
they were. It was very similar to when they played St Helens a few weeks ago. They were pretty faultless in that first half. And again, it's a big statement from the Salford club. Over the last few weeks, they beat St Helens. They beat Huddersfield, they beat Catalans, so these are all top 4 teams. So, like Leeds, they're one of the form teams in Super League, and if, it'll be tough to make them playoffs, but if and when they do, I don't think anyone will want to go to Salford or even have Salford at home. They are a very dangerous side, and pleased for the Salford team, and if they can scrape in, it will be a massive season for Paul Rowley.
I just think they're just playing with no fear, aren't they? They're just fearless at the moment. I think I said it on the show a couple of weeks ago. I was with Kev, and they were going in against Saints that week, and just said that they're just playing with no fear. They fear nobody in this competition at the moment. I know they've been sort of down a little bit on bodies as well, and they've had to sort of rejig things and bring people in on loan and try and keep people on the field. But the way Paul Rowley's got that team playing at the moment is fantastic. And as Moz just pointed out, and they've beaten 3 of the top 4 sides there in the last few weeks. That's fantastic, especially with all the sort of pressure they've been under in terms of with players' availability and that. It's tremendous. So you've got to give a lot of credit there to Paul Rowley and his coaching team and the group of players that are there that are delivering these performances, because again, they're another one that could be a real dark horse come playoff time if they make it.
Do you think, and I'm trying to say this without sounding too condescending, but do you think there's almost a sense of self-awareness with Salford? I feel like they know what they are, they know what they're not, so they just play to their strengths. They've obviously identified different ways of doing it, and it's working for him. Yeah,
I think that's a really good point you make there. I think one thing obviously Paul Rowley has done is he's been able to organise his men. They obviously all understand their role and what's expected of them. I think the other thing that probably goes a little bit in their favour is there's no genuine pressure on them. I think from the outside, externally, a lot of people think, it's only Salford, they might go all right, but it's no one's expecting them to go and challenge like your Saints and your Wiggins and your Catalans and things like that. So I think when they're going into games, they've almost got a free hit, haven't they? They're going with that pressure off the shoulders. It's like, well, we're not expected to win, but you know what? We're going to go out, we're going to express ourselves, we're going to play with this freedom that the coach has allowed us to play with. And the reality is they're getting results and they're building momentum, as Moz said, going into playoffs. When you've got that momentum and that confidence, you become a dangerous animal.
In Brodie Croft as well, I think.
He's been outstanding.
World-class player. He's been absolutely outstanding. He's been backed up by a lot of the other Salford boys, but he's been the main man, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Wakefield 30, Wigan 12, a real standout result when you look at the Moz. The win that I think in my head keeps Wakefield up, and for Wigan, a real kind of shock to the system. I think when you start thinking about playoffs in a few weeks' time, there'll be a few nervous people about the way that they didn't turn up on that occasion.
Yeah, if you look at Wigan over the last 4 or 5 weeks, you could say they're pretty much a shoo-in for the grand final, but when you have an inconsistent performance like this, you've got to ask the question. But that was the result of the round for Wakefield, and really pleased for Franny Cummins and Willie Poachin, two of the coaches there at Wakefield. So it's been a pretty hard 5 or 6 weeks for them, a bit of pressure on them from Toulouse, but I agree with you, that's probably saved them and kept them in Super League for next year. So they'll want us to finish on a high. They certainly won't put the queue on the rack now. They'll want another win or two in the next few weeks. But definitely the winner of the round, that one.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job, Lewis, as well on keeping Jay Field and Bevan French pretty quiet in that game. I thought they come up with a plan to really sort of stifle those attacking threats that Wigan have. And I thought Mason Lino was again outstanding for Wakefield and really pivotal in getting that result. But as Moz said, it was a fantastic performance and result for Wakefield, and probably one that keeps them up in the Super League.
And then rounding it off, Huddersfield 6 and Helens 60. My word, St Helens have had their injury issues. that obviously had that defeat against Salford, Hendo. If anyone was questioning their resolve and if cracks were starting to clear, they answered that question at the weekend, didn't they?
Oh, they certainly did. That was a fantastic result for Saints away at Hull. But again, we asked that question about Hull FC, don't we? What is going on? They just cannot deliver consistent performances. I think we've got to start questioning, the playing group there as well. I feel because, too often there's some real quality players in that. I know Hull have been struggling. I think they've got probably 9 or 10 out at the moment through injuries or struggling with injuries. But every team's struggling at this time of the year. It's a long season. There's a lot of games played, and again the quality of the Super League now is of a high standard and intensity, and you've got to manage that. But for Hull, I don't know what you think, Moz, but they just don't seem to get that consistency in performance, and maybe they're relying on 1 or 2 players like your Jake Connors and that, and they don't have him available. It's a different story, but I think they've got enough quality there. Do you think to be getting more results than they are?
And they've been showing that in games, but too inconsistent, as you say. It's no good being good 1 week and then poor for 3. But on the flip side, St Helens on the day can do that to anyone, can't they? And they have had a bit of a wobble the last few weeks, but this is them saying, playoffs are coming up. This is what we're all about. And if you look at the other teams, Wigan, Catalans, Huddersfield, they all lost. So I think that they've made a real statement this week, saying we want that grand final again. And you won't bet against them if you were a betting man, Lewis.
No, they're locked into that top 2. St Helens, again looking like the evidence of the weekend of the final form at the right time. This is how the race for the playoffs looks, and I just get the impression we were talking about this last week. It was a 5-team race. I think the 2 Hull clubs have probably dropped away now.
Agreed.
It's looking, it's a shootout, isn't it, between Castleford, Leeds, and Salford for those 5th and 6th places. Obviously, one has to miss out, Hendo. Who misses out?
Oh, that's really, really hard to say. Because at the moment, I think if you look at it on current form, Leeds and Salford are going in, aren't they? Just because Cass have been a little bit, at times they'll win a couple, they'll lose one, they'll drop one, and then they'll have a great win like they did against Catalan. So if you look at it current form, you'd say Leeds and Salford go in. But as we know, Castleford, I think, will take a lot of confidence from that win against Catalan. Obviously, they've got that little buffer of having another win ahead of the 2 guys below, 2 teams below them. So it's a tough one. I suppose the other question is can Salford and can Leeds continue this winning run and this form? When is it going to end? Because it's going to have to end at some point. Yeah, so it's an exciting, isn't it? Exciting story.
Salford are away at Catalans this weekend. We know how difficult it is to go over there, but Salford actually play Castleford in a couple of weeks. That could be.
Wow. That could be the decider.
That could be the decider. So very, very exciting finish to the Super League we have.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic running. As we mentioned, that win for Warrington against Toulouse would have done wonders to ease some nerves around the Halliwell Jones Stadium. And a couple of weeks ago, they teamed up with Betfred and our friends at the PDC to step up to the oche and raise a little bit of money for charity.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Matty Ashton, Joe Bullock and James Harrison. The size of them, the big lad. Brilliant, love your stuff, lads. Well done, boys. There's one thing for sure, you won't be getting no stick from me.
Right, Joe's going to be playing first. Right, 3 darts, 3, we do 9 darts each. Whoever got the highest has got the bragging rights, and they're the champions, okay?
Joe's going first.
It's going to be you to throw first.
Joe.
Good luck.
Joe's getting that's it.
3.
But it's a good 3.
23. 43.
You've got to take them out, Joe.
Mate. Trust me, it's 15-foot round trip.
Mind you, the size of Joe, I'll collect them.
Oops. Unlucky, James.
He didn't
5,
mean that.
10.
That's a good start, that is, James. That's a good 10.
Matty, lads, walk this way towards me when you're throwing your darts, please. Thank you. Matty, 5. 45. 50. Good darts. Right, Joe, you're next lot.
They're big lads, aren't they? You're big lads, I'll give you that. I reckon I could get in the team.
5. Oh, still 5. That's open the door. 6 scored.
How we doing?
Well, we're doing okay in a minute. 20. 60. 75.
Yes! That's more like it.
20. 40. 40 scored. Right, let's go to the last. Hang on there, Joe. Joe, you're on 49. We need to do a bit here. Because James is on 85. Matty is on 90. So, come on, Joe. Here we go. 5. 17. 37. Drop that one side for me. 86. Right. Here we go, James. 1. 6. 46. Hey, that's handy. 1-3-1. Brilliant. Right, Matty, here we go. 5. 10. 10 scored. Ladies and gents, your champion. That is James.
Yes, James! Brilliant. You happen to be the biggest one. Right, let's have a team picture, lads. Come in here. Let's bring on Matt from Betfred, the sponsor of the Betfred Super League.
Yeah, great stuff there at Blackpool, the Winter Gardens, and £1 donated to Macmillan Cancer Support for every point they scored. And across that whole match play tournament, various sponsorship initiatives, over £35,000 raised. So fantastic to raise some money for a good cause. But Hendo, good job, they're good rugby players, isn't it?
Absolutely, but what a cracking idea that was, you know, to sort of bring the darts and the rugby together. And again, I just think, you know, we know how popular darts is at the moment as a sport, and obviously great that Betfred are involved with that sport as they are with a number of sporting, different types of sports across the country. But, you know, great to be able to marry the two up there. You know, again, it's just more exposure for our game, you know, for people that maybe are regular darts goers, not familiar with rugby league, they get to, oh, okay, who are these guys and what they're about? And then on the same flip side, you know, the opportunity to raise money for a fantastic charity, the Macmillan Cancer Charity, is brilliant, first class. So great support again from Betfred. Fantastic idea who come up with that concept to bring in the 3 Warrington players, and great also too from the Warrington club to support the initiative of sending players down for that sort of event or challenge, so to speak. And I just think what a great thing that was, Moz.
No, I think so. I mean, it's on my bucket list to go to a darts event. I mean, the energy in the room is massive, and obviously there's a few beers here and there, but it's great. You know, watching on TV is a very exciting sport, and yeah, so I'm going to go and experience it live. But no good at it myself, but I'm quite happy to be an armchair watcher.
Yeah, top stuff in Blackpool there. Hendo, big weekend just gone for you and the Keighley Cougars. Your role there, Director of Rugby, you're a point away from clinching promotion up to the Championship. You're touching distance, you can almost taste it. It must just be a feeling of satisfaction after all the work that's gone in from yourself, Reece Lovegrove, players around you, to be in this position now must just feel very, very good. Yeah,
look, really pleased. You know, obviously since coming into the club, you know, I've got to give a lot of credit to the owners as well, because, you know, they've sort of put the trust in myself and the coaching team to design a performance program and a performance environment to try and give our group of players the best opportunity to develop and progress and perform. So, you know, the owners, like I said, I'm really pleased for them. I'm also really pleased to see the coaching team, you know, delivering the program to a high standard, and also to the players. I've got to give a lot of credit to the playing group. You know, they're part-time semi-professionals. You know, we've asked a lot of them, you know, in terms of changing their habits, sacrifice that they've had to make in order to achieve something special. And as you rightly said there, Lewis, we're very, very close to doing that. Again, I'm also pleased because the club itself has a lot of genuine aims and aspirations to progress, not only just to get to the championship, but to continue to develop and progress further off the back of that. There's some exciting things going on off the field. We've just had 2.3 million council support in terms of a grant and funding to redevelop the stadium, so that's going to be taking place next season. Like I said, the crowds are growing. You know, there's a lot of good stuff that the foundation is doing now in the local community, you know, in terms of around mental health support and stuff for the elderly, and we're going to get that coaching programs back into the schools as well. So there's a lot of really good things happening off the field, you know, and on the field as well. I suppose what's the other thing that we've got off the ground is the performance pathways with the England Talent Pathway structure with our 12s and 16s performance squads. So, like I said, there's a lot of things going on this year that's grown and developed, but ultimately the product on the field has been excellent. And like you said, we're just obviously one more point away from definitely secured it. We're near enough done now. I think we've got such a big points difference, it's going to be pretty hard to overcome. But again, to confirm it, we do need to get that final point, and hopefully we can achieve that this weekend against Doncaster.
Yeah, well, the Super League obviously gets a lot of plaudits. We spend a lot of time talking about it, but great to see a real historic, old-fashioned club. Well, not old-fashioned, but
traditional
club like Keighley doing well and really making a success of things.
Oh, it's fantastic, and just listening to Hendo then, the club's doing the right things both on and off the field. I remember going to Cougar Mania, Cougar Park in '95. So it was between Salford and Keighley. Whoever won that game won the title, and there was probably about 6,000 or 7,000 packed into the stadium. And I remember running the pitch at full time, but they were up there, back in the day. And the powers that be didn't let Salford or Keighley into the Super League for the first year, which was wrong. But yeah, so they were, obviously strong many moons ago. But it looks like they're going in the right direction now, which is great.
Yeah, so Hendo's boys pretty much there in the Betfred League One in terms of promotion race, and we'll have confirmation of our coverage of the Betfred League One playoffs on this channel very shortly. Your home of Rugby League Online.
Don't miss a thing from the new home of Rugby League Online.
Follow the Sportsman on social media
and follow their YouTube channel for exclusive content.
Right, let's get stuck into this week's action then in the Betfred Super League. All to play for. Starts off with a massive game. Huddersfield versus Castleford Tigers. Moz, Huddersfield obviously suffering defeat at the weekend to Salford. Cass, every point matters at this stage in terms of fending off Salford and Leeds. So a really big game on Thursday night.
Really big game. I was speaking to Chris Hill actually at the weekend. He played his first game back from a long-term injury at the weekend, and he said, we was a bit off this weekend, so they'll be open to bounce back. This time of year you want a bit of form, you want a bit of momentum, so it's at the Giants ground as well, so I'm going to go with Huddersfield on this one. But Castleford are in a rich vein of form. It's a derby really, it's only 15 miles down the road, so really compelling game. I'm looking forward to this, but I'll just go with the Giants, I think.
And then Hull FC Wakefield, Hendo.
Yep.
What on earth will Hull FC be saying this week after that?
Well, I don't know what they'll be saying, but they need a response, that's for sure. That was disappointing, that loss at home. Because they've had a couple of losses this year, and they've had big scorelines posted against them, and at home as well. So I just think they have a duty to their fan base to deliver a performance, and I think that needs to be the focus this week. Is not so much on the result, but delivering a performance that the fans can be proud of, and hopefully the result will take care of itself. But Wakefield will go there now, probably with a little bit of pressure released after the result against Wigan. They probably know they're one step closer to securing their future in the Super League. So I think they'll go there and probably play with a bit freer, if that makes sense, less pressure on them. So they're a dangerous team to play at the moment, Wakefield, because of that for Hull FC. But I think Hull FC, for me, I'd expect a response and a result at home.
Leeds Rhinos versus Warrington, Moz. Do you think now that some of the pressure's been lifted, they've got a bit of that weight off their shoulders, we might almost, see the Warrington that we've been expecting to see for much this season?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it could go one way or the other. They could think, let's finish the season with a bang, or they could just think we're safe now and put the queue on the rack. But I'm hoping it's the first one, and they want to finish with a bit of personal, professional pride. But I think it's up to Leeds Rhinos how they turn up and how they perform. They're playing particularly well, particularly at Headingley. So I just think Leeds are going to come out and do a bit of a job on Warrington. I'm hoping it's a close affair, but I'll have to say the Rhinos.
Saints Holkar, Hendo, it's really difficult to make a case for Holkar in this, isn't it? Danny Maguire's even hinted that he might have to bring himself out of retirement, such as the injury situation there.
Don't, Danny, please don't.
They couldn't have found a worse opposition either in this situation than St Helens, could they?
Yeah, look, well, firstly, I just hope Danny Maguire doesn't have to bring himself out of retirement. I really hope that, because it's he's got a big job on his hands anyway. He's been thrown into the head coaching role, to take care of it for the rest of the season. That's enough on his plate to then have to think about playing when he hasn't played for a number of months. It's a big thing to do, and I think he doesn't need to put that pressure on himself. That's the first thing I'll say, and I'm hopeful that they can find some young talent that they've got in their academies to give a game for that fixture. But the reality is I can't see anything past the St Helens victory. I think Saints, I said they've been a little bit indifferent for a couple of weeks here. I think that performance against Hull has probably got them back on the horse, so to speak. They've got them back on there. I think they'll be focused and highly motivated back at home to just keep building now towards and building that momentum into the playoffs. So, I think it's going to be a tough day at the office for the Hull Kingston Rovers.
Wigan to lose, Moss. Toulouse obviously needing a miracle at this stage of the season. They'll be coming up against a wounded animal in Wigan after that defeat against Wakefield. Is there any way we could see an upset here?
I can't see it, no, I really can't. Wigan don't lose at home to even the better teams, or very, very rarely. And to lose, they've been probably the tables don't lie, they've been the poorest side all year. And although they're going to go there and throw everything at Wigan, I just can't see anything other than a Wigan win. So they'll be disappointed for the loss last week, and they want to get back on track. And I think they'll win, and I think they'll win quite heavily as well.
And I don't think it helps Corey Norman with him.
Game ban.
Yeah, he's been. If they're going to have any chance of winning, they need those pivotal players on the field of that experience and quality. And I think having him unavailable now is going to just again takes another knock to that Toulouse side. So I'm with Moz. I can't see anything past a Wigan win.
Catalan Salford. Catalans look pretty much booked into those playoffs. Salford very much in the hunt. I think you alluded to it earlier, a really tough place to go, Endo.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game, isn't it? Because, Salford at the moment are riding this wave of momentum. They are playing outstanding rugby league football. And as I said earlier, we'll go into this game with no fear whatsoever and every confidence and belief that they can get the result. Catalan need a performance. I know they are struggling a little bit with injuries, as you said and pointed out earlier, Lewis, but they need a performance for me, especially at home, to get get a bit of confidence back in them heading in towards the back end of the season. But it's a real tough one to call. I don't want to back against Salford at the moment because of the way they're playing. Yeah. I think Salford will keep this run going. I just think there's something special happening at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'll go with the Salford win. Catalans at the start of the year, you'd have said no one would have gone over there and got the result, but they have shown that they are
vulnerable.
Vulnerable, and they've had a number of losses over there already. And as you've said, Salford's form, I think they're going to go over and nick the 2 points and get out of Dodge.
Just before we finish up, just a couple of bits I want to touch on. Miles, I'm not sure we've had you on the show since the news broke. We have spoken about it quite a bit, but Victor Radley put his hand up for England, and obviously you'll be pleased about that, having a rooster in the side, but it is good news, isn't it?
Yeah, great news. World-class player. I'm a big fan of just the way he plays the game, and his ability to work, and his engine, and the fact he is a rooster. I caught with him a couple of months ago when I was over for the Roosters reunion, but great guy as well, which does help in our sport. And if Sean Wayne thinks he's going to do a job for England, then I'm all for the decision. It's great news.
Hendo, interesting time in the season in the sense that there's still so much to play for in the regular season. Then, of course, we've got the playoffs and the grand final. But will there be players across all nationalities and national eligibility and all of that kind of thing back of their head thinking, got to perform in the next month, got to put my hand up for a World Cup shirt?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly those who haven't really been given already the green light or the nod. Some players will know that they're in or they're not. But as we know, certainly for the nations like Australia, New Zealand and the likes, the majority of those players are probably going to come from the NRL competition. But there may still be one or two places up for grabs in those World Cup squads. Certainly from your Samoan sort of players, Tongan players, things like that. So there is plenty of motivation for some of these players currently playing in the Super League to stake their claim. But as you rightly said, Lewis, they're going to have to perform and perform well. And I guess it's not just about performing in the last month. They need to have been performing consistently for most of the season for me if they're going to give themselves a chance. But those who have got that desire and aspiration to feature at the World Cup for the nation, then they've got to put their best foot forward, certainly now more than ever.
Right, gents, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for tuning in to The Last Tackle here on the Sportsman Rugby League. We'll be back, of course, as ever, next Wednesday at 6 o'clock. And tonight we'll leave you with the contenders for Try of the Week.
Welcome to Try of the Week. I'm Ross Fiddies, and here are this week's contenders. Try number 1 is the Women's Super League South semi-final. The Army RL side on the attack against the Cardiff Demons. Glyn with a good run down the edge, but is halted by the defence. It's a nice offload to captain Bethan Dainton though. Dainton with the ball now, and she's surrounded by the Demons, but it's some good footwork, and a foot on the accelerator sees her crossover for the military outfit. To the other Women's South semi-final for try number 2, and it's the London Broncos at home to the Bedford Tigers. Sophie Messam breaking through the defence with ease. She curves away back on the inside, but she's got 2 on a tail here. There's an attempt to drag her down, but Messam outpaces the Tigers and increases the lead for London. Try number 3, and it's the NCL Division 1. West Bowling on the attack here, into the arms of Darvel, who dabs it through. Nice collect, but it's back on the inside to the kicker. Skillful attack from West Bowling there, and a lovely try from Liam Darvel. To the championship for try number 4, and a tough day for the Dewsbury Rams away at Featherstone. Junior Moores with the offload to Craig Hall from Fev. He fights off one defender and another. It's 1-on-1 now with McGowan on the chase, but Hall bats him off and touches down for his second try of the day. Try number 5, and Wigan hoping to claw one back here after a strong start from Trinity. Looping pass out to Marshall. To French now, who looks for a gap but stumbles to his knees. He's found some pace though here, and it's a quick dummy before he cuts through the defence. There'll be no stopping Bevan French, but he stumbles again and just about gets it out to Halsall, and what a try for the Wigan Warriors. And finally, try number 6, Salford versus Huddersfield on Channel 4. Leroy Cudjoe charges downfield, and it's a superb offload as he slips to the floor. Farge collects at pace and goes for a kick. Hewitt's on the chase here, but so are the Reds. Sam Hewitt wins the race though, and it's some try for Huddersfield Giants. 6 tries, but only 1 winner. Head to the R-League app now to vote for your favourite.